Okay, so the pin holding the damper in position for on the other side of the machine came out today, and as this machine you've seen in my previous video has two dampers, one on this side and one on the other side. Over here, so basically the upper pin, let me just get it up here, this one fell out, and the symptom of a pin falling out is basically, or a damper coming loose or a damper breaking, is the machine will be swinging back and forth a lot, front to back. And as you can see here, the top of the machine is just held up by two springs. That's it. There's one spring here, one spring on the other side, somewhere here, yep. And then there's two dampers, one down there and one here. That's it. That's what holds it in position. So if you see it swinging back and forth or erratically in any position, turn off your machine and drain it out and take it apart and look at the dampers. So mine, the top pin actually fell out, and these are new dampers. So I'll show you what the pins look like and the arrangement that I did. Okay, so as you can see here, this is what the pin looks like. It's a simple plastic pin. It's hollow with a hex connection on one side. Honestly, I don't know what that is for. If you were to use a spanner on it, I think it would collapse. And at the tip of it, as you can see here towards the right hand side, that's basically a little tab which sticks out, and once you push it through, it's supposed to hook on to the plastic hole or the eyelet, which goes on either side of the damper, and that's supposed to hold the pin in position. But these things, I guess, wear out, and I've done a damper replacement in the past, so I might have depressed it and I guess once you depress it, it doesn't really pop back into position, and it makes it more easy for the pins to work themselves loose when the machine is running. And here we can see the number for the part for my machine, and this is a 124000410. That's the part number for just the pin itself, and I found that Electrolux is really good at supplying spare parts. Just get in touch with them and either provide them the part number or describe it to them, and they'll provide a general arrangement drawing to verify it. From there, they'll actually give you a quotation, and you can actually pick it up at their service center, or they are willing to courier it to you, and as long as you cover the courier fees. That's applicable for Malaysia. It may vary in different countries, but at least in Malaysia I found them to be very supportive. That's where I bought my dampers and my springs from them, and they were top notch. And now getting down to the modification, the first step is to cut off the tip of the pin right behind the locking latch or tab, and this will ensure that the remainder of the pin will go end to end through the guides, what do I call them, the eyelets? Well, the bits on both sides of the damper, so that they are fully buffered by this plastic pin sleeve. So once you've cut the tip of that plastic sleeve, take it to a hardware shop and purchase a bolt, two washers, and a lock nut and a set that fits. The bolt will have to be as thick as possible to go through the plastic sleeve without pushing it outwards. For me, this was an M8 bolt. Get it preferably everything in stainless steel. Next, you would need washers, and the washers should be the outer diameter should be bigger than the hex end of the plastic sleeve. So normal washers will not fit. You need extra wide washers. These normally cost a bit more. And lastly, a nut on the end. Preferably get the self-locking nut with a little bit of nylon at the tip of it. And if you don't, then you'll need to get a double nut, but that would be very difficult because of the way the dampers are fitted in and the anchors. It's very congested, so if you want to lock a double nut against themselves, that would be quite difficult. So try and get a self-locking nut, and that should serve you well. Alright, so this is basically what we are gunning for. It's a bolt running straight through what's now a plastic sleeve, what used to be our plastic pin, with washers on either side, the extra wide ones. And now you can see why we needed the extra wide one. If it was a normal width washer, that washer would be collapsing into the hex side of the pin, which is hollow, and this whole assembly is held together by the self-locking nut. And with this, hopefully this will overcome the problem of the pin working itself out. Now, before this new plastic sleeve, or rather modified plastic sleeve, is installed back into the machine, take your blade and just bevel the what's now a leading edge of the sleeve, so that it will be easier to slide in. The original pin had quite a tapered tip, so actually when you slid it in, it was self-centering, and it would push the damper into position, the bushing of the damper into position, and everything would line up properly. Now, as this is a sleeve, it's essentially a square in tube, it'll be quite hard to push it in and center everything, so it's a lot more work. And without a bevel, it's really difficult to get it in. So bevel it properly, less than 50% the thickness of the pin wall, or the sleeve wall rather. And when you're installing it, you will have to make sure that the bush of the damper is very, very properly aligned with the supports. And if it doesn't, just give it a bit of a wiggle and slowly work it through. Be patient. And only after the pin is installed, after the sleeve is installed and has gone all the way through, only then put your bolt through, and with the washers and the nut. All the metal hardware can go in once everything is in place. And so now that you've seen the arrangement I've done, I've already done 3 of them down here, if you can see. Can I get so there's some, you can see the nut in the washer there. And the trick is, let's see if I can get it a bit. So you want to be able to get it so it's just a little bit loose, just like that, not too much. And hopefully the lock nut will hold it in position. So I've also done the one down there and the one up here. So these are M8 nut bolts, as I mentioned before, with oversized extra wide washers and a lock nut. So I hope this is the last time I have to open it up for another, I don't know, 10 years or so, because the previous dampers lasted 8 years before I had to change it. And yeah, so once I actually pushed out these pins, that little tab that holds it in position, I guess got pushed in, never really came out properly again to hold it in position, right? And stop it from popping out with all the vibration it goes under. So yep, that's my hopefully successful hack or modification to the pins that hold the dampers in position. The springs, I can't imagine anything happening, they're just hooked in position, so unless the spring breaks, it should last. Yep, thanks for watching, guys. This is an Electrolux machine, but I'm sure it's applicable for most other machines. They all follow a similar construction method, I'm sure. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any ideas, comments, if you see you've done something wrong which may result in an unforeseen failure, please let me know. And thanks for watching. Cheers.